Brew Strong is brought to you by Blickman Engineering, home of the top-tier brewing stand. Visit them online at blickmanengineering.com.
Brewers, it's time for the beer radio you've been looking for. This is the show that dispels myths, tackles the toughest topics, and makes no apologies for geeking out on beer. Hosted by two guys that drink before they think. Jamil and John Palmer. This is Brew Strong.
Hey, howdy, hey, my brewing brothers and sisters.
Greetings, cretins.
Oh, yeah.
So how you been there, Jamil?
Pretty good. Busy.
Yeah, don't doubt it. Don't doubt it.
I'm enjoying a bit of the fruits of my labor, though. Some Evil 3.
Oh, yeah, that's a
brought in a can here for me and Porno Scott.
You're just combining nicknames now.
Oh, yeah. I'm too lazy to really come up with any new ones.
I'll twirl my mustache for the majority of the show.
There you go. Get that hipster vibe going.
This beer, man, it's so good.
It is.
It's the smoothest, easiest 11.5% 100 IBU beer you're ever going to have. Oh, yeah. I've been drinking we put them in pint cans this year.
Oh, nice.
So
nice.
I got a couple of 4-packs for the house. And each night I drink one of those cans, and I'm just like, wow, that's pretty good. And then I want another one. And I think the first night I was like, yeah, I'll have another one. And I did. And then I was like, well, probably shouldn't have done that. So since then I've been like, no, you can't have another one. Only drink one.
Yeah, I imagine the second half of the second can would kind of go to waste.
Oh, no. No going to waste.
Oh, okay.
No such thing. It just goes right in. Oh, yeah. I'm sure our good friend John Blickman would enjoy Evil 3.
Oh, he sure would.
You know, this is actually really good.
Yeah?
He was like, you want some Evil 3? And I was like, that is not my jam.
Yeah.
But no, this is delicious.
Yeah, not me neither, normally. Not a big hop guy, but this beer is delightful.
Exactly.
Smooth. Yeah. Smooth and easy. Yeah, it's going to be another year before I have more.
Yeah, you instantly sold the batch out before it was even done. It was already sold, huh?
Yeah, it's hard to make enough of it. It takes... So normally it takes us 4 batches to fill a 120 barrel fermenter, which actually holds 147 barrels gross. But with this beer, we have to brew 5 batches to really fill it up, and then we net probably 90 barrels out of that.
Is it repeat accounts? Who's buying it all? So I mean, obviously they know what they're getting.
Yeah, so, it's new accounts, too, that have never, had it, but have heard about it. So we do Evil 3 Day, where people come down and they can get their growlers filled directly off the fermenter, and then we have, cans for sale, and it's like a big party. And so people start lining up 8 in the morning, and
wow,
it's quite the day. And then...
no wonder you only net 90 barrels.
Right. Well, we actually...
or is that hop loss?
That's hop loss.
Oh, okay.
Really?
Yeah, we put so much hops in there.
And it's not insanely bitter. It has a lot of flavor, but it's not super bitter.
Totally.
It's bitter.
I want more.
But there's still a little bit left. We should just drink it before Porno Steve gets here.
Please.
Yeah, screw that guy.
Yeah, he needs to be punished. It's bitter, but it's the choice of hops, and it's the water profile, and it's all that makes it a smooth bittering. I think that's lost on some people where they like it really harsh. I don't like it harsh. I like it smooth. I like it easy. just like my John Blickman.
Yes.
Smooth and easy. That's what
his
we
middle
call him.
name.
Smooth and easy. What nickname did we come up with for him last time?
I don't remember now.
It was quite disgusting.
Beeb, wasn't he in here the other night, Blickman?
I don't
Who was sitting here and you were like, that's John Blickman?
think so. No.
You sure?
Yeah, he was up. Was it a week or so ago?
Yeah,
because we did the BYO boot camp in San Diego 2 weeks ago, and then immediately after that he went up to the Bay Area, do some business, and he probably stopped in.
He might have been here. I didn't say that though. I haven't seen him since I don't know when.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah.
He was here. I heard him trying to order something smooth and easy.
Gosh, what was that nickname now? I was so repulsed by it. I think I blocked it out.
we had his new porn name.
It was foul.
Okay, now I gotta look it up. Let's see. I texted it to him.
Jamil is scrolling through a novel of back and forth texts. That's a hell of a thread. You guys are close.
Here it is. Oh, Splooge Easy.
Oh, that was it. It has the same sort of ring as Smooth and Easy.
Yeah, Splooge Easy.
And gross.
No, please. That's classic porn right there. Yeah, well, old Splooge Easy. He's been sponsoring the show for a long time, paying for it so you don't have to. So what I would suggest is go by the website, blickmanengineering.com, and check it out. All the good stuff on there. You can even send him an email at feedback@blickmanengineering.com, and he'll get it. He reads all those. He really does appreciate that you find value in the show and the fact that he sponsors it. So... good guy, lots of great products, and one of the things is he went with you, John, to do the BYO boot camp down in San Diego, right?
That is right. Yep.
And you were mentioning that one of the questions that came up a lot was about efficiency. That people seemed kind of confused as to how to measure their efficiency, what it should be, what affected efficiency, a lot of little things about efficiency that seemed like one of the difficult things for a lot of people.
Yeah. So we covered that in our talk there. We were kind of doing a all grain brewing 101 or all grain essentials class both days down there. Mm-hmm. And but we worked in discussion, about a 20-minute discussion of efficiency. And I thought, given the interest there and some emails that we've received, both for Brew Strong and just, people sending us questions, I thought probably be good to go over it again. And, it's a little bit fundamental, a little bit back to basics, but, it's the kind of thing that people do get confused on and not sure how to apply it. So I think it'll be useful. Right.
Yeah. Well, and you say back to basics, fundamentals, I think it has some complexity to it. But, if you've never learned this, then, what you're saying is you need to learn some of the fundamentals of brewing, some of the basics of brewing. Yeah, you can gloss over this and just go forward and make whatever, but if you really want to make great, consistent beer, you need to kind of get a hold of, what this number is and realize, how to measure it. Not that you want, the greatest. One of the things that drove me nuts is people were trying to I'm only at like 88% efficiency. How do I get like 95? It's like, why are you bothering? You're just going to mess up your beer. So it's not that you need to be chasing a specific number, but here's how you kind of figure it out, right?
Right. And it's a number that you would use in recipe development, figuring out how much grain you need for a batch.
Right. An important first step in being able to make your own recipes.
Yeah, exactly. So, and once you understand where the number comes from, it helps, it's another tool, another touch point to help you understand your brewing process and how you're doing. Mm-hmm. And, again, you don't need to strive for 95% or anything like that. It's just a matter of understanding where you are.
Right. Well, and so the whole thing about mash efficiency, it really kind of boils down, or efficiency when brewing, it boils down to a couple of things. It's, the efficiency of the mash, the conversion of the starches to the sugars.
Right.
That's one section to it, and then the other section is kind of the lautering, the rinsing of those sugars out of that grain bed and capturing them in the kettle.
Right.
And then one thing that always threw people off was like, the kettle and the boil. They were like, well, if I boil it down more, then I got more efficiency. It's like, no.
Right.
Efficiency is actually independent of the boil. The boil affects how you measure it because, or the math that's involved, because you take into account, different numbers.
The volumes.
The volume. But you could have, 80% efficiency, and you've collected 10 gallons of 1040 wort, and boil that down to 5 gallons, and now you've got 1080 wort, 5 gallons. Or you could, let's say you collected 7 gallons of 1060 or whatever. Doesn't really matter. Once you boil it down, the
same efficiency.
The same efficiency. The numbers of what you have in your kettle and all that have changed, but efficiency has remained the same. You're just concentrating what's there. Efficiency is about the conversion of the starches and the capturing of the sugars.
Right.
Okay.
It's all about your yield.
Right. And there's ways to affect that, of course. Let's do this. Let's take a short break. And when we come back, why don't we dive into all the ins and outs of brewing efficiency right after this.
Are you looking for a simple brewing system that's great for all grain brewing, but everything on the market seems to be full of compromises? Blickman Engineering has the answer. The Blickman Brew Easy All Grain Brewing System. The Brew Easy is a complete system with easy upgrades and a beautiful compact design, perfect for any size brewing location. At its core, the Brew Easy is built on 2 gorgeous Blickman Boilermaker brew kettles, a high-temperature March pump, and either a top-tier gas burner or the new Boil Coil electric heater. The Brew Easy adapter lid allows the pots to stack on top of each other, forming an efficient, strong, and compact brewing setup that comes in 5, 10, and 20-gallon batch sizes. Upgrade your Brew Easy system with full automated control by adding a Blickman Tower of Power temp controller, and make moving around easy with the Blickman Kettle Cart. The Brew Easy is modular. If you already own a Boilermaker kettle, you can build your Brew Easy by purchasing just the modules you need. The new Brew Easy all-grain brewing system. See it today at BlickmanEngineering.com and brew with Blickman quality on your new Brew Easy. Since the first time the Brewing Network microphones turned on, More Beer was behind it. More Beer sponsors the programming on the BN because, like you, they love brewing. And like the Brewing Network, they love sharing their knowledge. Morebeer.com isn't just a website to place your next equipment or ingredient order. Morebeer.com also gives you access to free beer information that will make you a better brewer. Go to morebeer.com and click into the Learning Center. You'll find podcasts, technical facts, video tutorials, and more, including access to The Buzz, More Beer's social network of more than 5,000 members. And some of them might even be crazier about beer than you are. Get over to morebeer.com today and take advantage of The Buzz, the forum, the Learning Center, and make sure you're signed up to receive the newest More Beer catalog. More Beer, bringing you absolutely everything for beer making. When I order a beer, I want my server to know more about it than I do. I want someone who enjoys good beer and loves helping others enjoy it too. I want someone who knows how to pour a perfect pint for every beer style. I want a Cicerone.
The Cicerone Certification Program is creating the type of people who help you enjoy great beer. Home brewers and craft beer lovers know beer is more flavorful and complex than ever, and it takes some serious knowledge to store and serve beer right. Cicerones know beer. There are 3 levels in the Cicerone program: Certified Beer Server, Certified Cicerone, and Master Cicerone. Cicerones are truly the sommeliers of beer. The best beer locations have a Certified Cicerone on staff. Relaxed and unpretentious. Cicerones are tested on storing and serving beer, beer styles, flavor and tasting, the brewing process and ingredients, and pairing food with beer. Learn more about your next beer guide at cicerone.org. Certified Cicerone, because it takes top talent to present a perfect pint.
Since 1979, Williams Brewing has offered the finest equipment and freshest ingredients and the best customer service in the business. Check out their brand new patent-pending mash and boil 110-volt electric mashing and boiling unit. This compact all-stainless unit lets you mash, sparge, and boil just about anywhere that has a 110-volt plug. Double-wall construction adds to efficiency and safety, and a precise thermostat keeps temperatures where you want them. Unlike insulated buckets and converted coolers, multiple temperature rest mashing is easy to do, all for under $300. They also feature the Mark II work pump, a magnetic drive high-temperature pump that does the work of pumps that cost twice as much, as well as exclusive Brewer's Edge regulators and quality Keg King kegs and disconnects. Check them out today at williamsbrewing.com to brews their vast selection.
Do you know the 3 most important rules in brewing? Sanitation, sanitation, and sanitation. And no one does it better than 5-Star Chemicals. 5-Star knows sanitation. You can only sanitize clean equipment. And 5-Star knows how to clean, too. For craft brewers and home brewers, 5-Star has what you need to keep your fermenters, serving tanks, kegs, and draft lines sparkling and free of any beer-spoiling bacteria. PBW, caustic, acid cleaners, Star Sand, SaniClean, lubricants and defoamers, pH stabilizers, and more. 5-Star Chemicals has cleaning supplies, safety supplies, heat exchangers, pumps, hoses, and valves. And 5-Star is proud to offer eco-friendly products that exceed customer expectations. If you have a cleaning problem, you need the 5-Star solution. Visit 5starchemicals.com or call 800-782-7019. 800-782-7019 and get the 5-Star treatment today.
Back to the 2 guys that know how to turn beer into beer. This is Brew Strong.
All right, we're back. And many thanks to Porno Scott for filling in for the missing Porno Steve.
Many you're welcomes.
And I want to give thanks out to Great Fermentations as well. I don't know if John and I have been there and seen those folks and what they do and how clean and organized and well run their shops are.
Oh yeah, beautiful,
good people, and they're out there in Indiana. They have their John Blickman's essentially local homebrew shop, and maybe that's part of the reason that they have the largest catalog of Blickman products on the web, and their staff is some of the best trained in using those Blickman products. So if you got Blickman products, you got questions, Great Fermentations, they can answer your questions, they can sell you the products, they can service the products, all that stuff. And they got top-notch customer service, same-day shipping on many of their items. Really good folks. You can check them out at greatfermentations.com, and you can like them on Facebook, GR8 Fermentation. Same on Twitter, same on Instagram. Check them out. Good folks, greatfermentations.com.
That's cool that you got to go there. I've only seen pictures. It looks like a great spot.
And what surprised me most was how clean and organized the whole place was. How sometimes you go into homebrew shops, and God bless them, a lot of times it's one passionate individual who's opened a shop and can't keep up with everything. But you see like dirty boxes and dirty products and just green piles of everywhere. Junk piled up, and not there. It's like a clean, modern store with the products well maintained, excellent selection.
And
really surprising.
I think that might just be their MO, like for everything, because I've actually only dealt with them on a bookkeeping standpoint, and even the way that they pay their bills. Yeah. Is amazing.
They're totally on top of it.
They send me an email 3 days before they automatically put money into the account. Yeah. They're like, hey, this is coming. And then when it's there, they're like, hey, it's there.
It's just a super well-run
a machine
company. Yeah. And it goes from the head down. That's one reason, since Justin's the head of the Brewing Network, why the Brewing Network is really very
I try to help.
Loose in how things are done, I guess we'll say. And,
I try.
And that's one reason why Great Fermentations, the owner there, she's absolutely fantastic. and it's that drive to make it perfect that really has paid off for them. Anyways, we were talking about efficiency.
That's right.
So, John, tell us, where do you want to start? Do you want to start on the mash end of this thing?
Well, yeah. Well, I'm gonna talk a little bit about the definition, where we get our basis from when it comes to efficiency. So, efficiency is based on yield. And so our brewing efficiency is how well we're doing compared to a laboratory standard mash and lauter.
Yeah, see, and when they say laboratory standard mash and lauter, they're talking about grinding something essentially to powder and then, soaking it at, optimal temperatures. And how much can they really extract out of this thing? Right. It's not a lab mash like, this is going to make quality beer. It is, how hard can you push this grain to cough up some sugar?
That's right. Yeah, the ASBC fine grind dry basis evaluation of malt, they take 50 grams of malt, a little handful, and they grind it to powder, and they put it in, warm water. They mash in around 113 degrees Fahrenheit, and then they hold that for half an hour, really let it soak up the water, get hydrated. And then they slowly ramp it up over another half hour up to 158 degrees, which is like your alpha amylase rest. Then they hold that there for another hour. So it's like a 2-hour mash on this little bit of grain. Then they add more water to bring the water to grist ratio up to 8-to-1, and which is, typical water to grist ratio. It is more like 3-to-1 or 4-to-1 in terms of liters per kilogram, 8-to-1 in this case for the lab. And then they drain that mash through filter paper over another hour. So they weigh what they've got, from draining that, and they calculate it. And it typically comes out to about 80%, 81% of the malt. The dry weight of the malt gets extracted as soluble extract into that water. And so, in other words, the maximum extract from a sample of malt is about 81% of the dry weight as soluble extract. And so that's our basis of comparison. Mm-hmm. So when we do our mashes, we put our grist in the mash tun, mash it, and then drain off that wort, and we evaluate how much wort, how much gravity points and volume that we obtain in our boil kettle, and we ratio it against that 80%. So, and I need to back up a little bit. So, if base malt contributes 80% by weight. Another gold standard is table sugar. Table sugar contributes 100% of its weight as soluble extract. When you dissolve it in water, there's nothing left behind. There's no chaff, there's no husk or anything like that in the case of malt. And table sugar contributes 46 points per pound per gallon in terms of gravity. In other words, if you took 1 pound of sugar and dissolved it in water to create 1 gallon of solution, that solution would have a gravity of 1.046. Mm-hmm. So that's our other basis of comparison. Base malt at 80% soluble extract would, if you mashed and lautered and collected to create 1 gallon of solution from 1 pound of malt, you would have a gravity of 1.037.
Which is 80% of the weight.
Yeah, 80%
of 46.
Right. So you go from 80% of 46 to get 37 points per pound per gallon. And in terms of liters per kilogram...
And that would be perfect extraction.
That would be perfect extraction, yes.
And conversion.
Yeah. So you would have, if you had 100% efficiency, in other words, you are tying the laboratory mash in lauter, you would get a gravity of 37, 1037, or 309 in terms of points per liter per kilogram. In the metric system. So that's your maximum potential yield. Our efficiency as brewers and craft brewers, we're ratioing our yield against that perfect 80% or 37 points per pound per gallon. And typically we're going to get somewhere around 75% of that, which would be about 28 points per pound per gallon, or I think it's 293 pKl. So again, there's mash efficiency and there's lauter efficiency. We have how well we convert the starches to sugars in the mash, and then how well we extract those sugars from the grain, and get that wort into our kettle. So the number you need to measure to calculate your efficiency is the volume of wort in your kettle times its gravity. So if you collect, let's see, where's the page I'm looking for? If you collect, 7 gallons of 7 gallons of 1045 wort in your boil kettle, that's 7 times 45. That's 315 gallon points of extract. Then you would divide that by the amount of grain used. Let's say we use 12 pounds. So 315 divided by 12, that works out to 26.25 gallon points per pound, or points per pound per gallon. It's algebra. You just kind of flip the units around. So 26.25 points per pound per gallon. You divide that by our standard 37 points per pound per gallon to match, the 80% soluble extract. 26.25 divided by 37 equals 71% efficiency. So that is how efficient your mash and lauter was compared to the laboratory. Now, from there, you would go through the boil. You would take that 7 gallons, maybe boil it down to 6 gallons, and that would kick up your OG to like 1052-ish, something like that. And from there on, now you have to worry about wort loss. How much wort gets lost in the trube? How much you get lost to hops and just stuck in your lines? I mean, and that is kind of an aspect of efficiency. It's kind of a brew house efficiency, but really, let's keep in mind that that's really a separate thing. That's physical losses due to your brewing setup. Well,
and also, wort left behind in the lauter ton in the mash ton, false bottoms and things like that. Tends to be, some concentration there. That's one of the things about, doing a fly sparge. It tends to rinse out those false bottoms and such.
Yeah. So that's kind of the whole thought stream on efficiency. Let's go back and look at each piece now a little bit. Let's look at mash efficiency. How well we are converting the weight, the weight of the grist into soluble extract. How well those starches are converting to sugars. And you need to understand, well, not you, Jamil, you understand this, but everyone needs to understand that, the mash conversion is dependent upon several factors. One of these is the degree of crush, how well those starches are exposed to the hydration and the malt enzyme, or the malt enzymes. Then
that's one of the reasons that they doing the Congress mash, that they grind it to a powder. So they're exposing every little last bit of the starch to the water and the enzymes.
Right. And then, of course, you have the temperature and the pH of the mash controlling that enzyme activity.
Mm-hmm.
So those are, other two very important factors. So, and then other thing.
Yeah.
The going back to the method, ASBC, fine grind, dry basis.
Mm-hmm.
What they do is they figure out what the percent of moisture is in that malt,
mm-hmm.
and then they subtract that out.
Right.
So as brewers, we have to deal with how much moisture, how much water is already in the malt that is, really subtracting from the weight of our malt. And typically that number is about 4%
mm-hmm.
by weight.
Right.
Small percentage, but what that means is that in looking at if you had done a perfect mash and a perfect lauter,
mm-hmm.
You would still be about 4% shy of that 80% by weight.
Mm-hmm.
You'd be at around 76% because your grist had 4% by weight water,
mm-hmm.
which is going to contribute solid oil extract. So that's one big factor really, and in addition to all these other factors, that's going to affect your total yield.
Like in real humid places like Florida or the Caribbean or something like that, and you got a lot high level of humidity, and your malt is not sealed off from that. You tend to pick up a bit of extra weight, and
5-6%.
Yeah, that can mess with your calculations and your numbers. The other thing that can mess with things is your grist, the makeup of your grist. So we're talking base malts here, but if you're using a lot of crystal malt, you'll get a different amount of sugar out of that. Something like a roasted barley, you'll get a different level of sugar out of that. Because a lot of the starches have been converted already into these flavor compounds.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, in fact, if you look in How to Brew in the steeping section, and I think it's chapter 3 now, I've got a table of the actual points per pound per gallon of extract that you get when steeping and mashing some of the specialty malts,
mm-hmm.
and it can be like 50% of what you would get from a base malt. I mean, in other words, only 14 points per pound per gallon compared to 28. Half of the soluble extract. So, the amount of specialty malts that you have in your recipe can also make a significant contribution to how much extract you should be seeing from your mash.
Mm-hmm. Okay. All right, let's take a short break. When we come back, we'll continue with talking about efficiency and how to measure it, what it means, and I assume at some point how to change it. We'll be back right after this.
Beer tasting games that train your palate, a brewery locator, and the brand new interactive beer style guide. These are just a few of the awesome things you'll find on craftbeer.com. The style guide is a beautiful example of technology in beer. Browse beer style families or turn on the automatic beer style finder and explore beer through color, bitterness, ABV, aroma, and flavor. It's really the coolest way to explore every beer style besides having them all in front of you. Go to craftbeer.com and click on Beer Styles to start the guide. Plus, enjoy the rest of craftbeer.com, the Brewers Banter blogs, beer education, how to host a beer tasting, and the invaluable Draft Quality Manual. Tons of great content that makes your beer better. Visit the new craftbeer.com right now and explore the website that brings you all the passion, camaraderie, and creativity of the craft beer community. Craftbeer.com, celebrating the best of American beer.
Hey, my brewing brothers and sisters. This is Jamil Zainashev, and I want to tell you about Heretic Evil Twin. You might be familiar with my homebrew recipe, which uses massive late hopping to create a balance between the malty sweet and the hoppy bitter, along with an outrageous malt and hop character. I wanted a beer with the same bold hop and malt character, so we played around with the homebrew recipe until we were able to make a great commercial version too. We've created a beer rich in malt character, full of caramel, toast, biscuit, and an ever so subtle roast note. On top of that, we piled in an insane amount of Citra and Columbus hops at the end of the boil, as well as in dry hopping. This damn-the-cost approach to hopping gives Heretic's Evil Twin a great blast of citrus and tropical fruit that can't be matched by any other hop. The result is a bold, malty, hoppy, but easy-drinking beer. This is our top seller, our flagship beer, and I couldn't be prouder of it. Cheers.
To find Heretic beers near you, click on Find Some at hereticbrewing.com.
The 21st Amendment.
Watch out!
Do you like beer? They make beer.
Watch out!
Do you like friends and fun? They make friends and fun.
Watch out!
Do you still like to have a good time? The 21st Amendment.
Watch out!
The 21st Amendment in San Francisco, located at 563 2nd Street, 2 blocks from the building where baseball is seen and played. Try their beers in the pub or try them in the can, featuring
Monk's Blood.
Made with real monk.
Watch out!
So why not have the best time of your life? Go to the 21A and Sean O'Sullivan will personally greet you with a can of
Monk's Blood. The 21st Amendment.
Watch out!
This advertisement is not in any way affiliated nor associated with the 21st Amendment Bar and Pub, nor its subsidiaries or affiliates. This telecast is not copywritten by the 21st Amendment for the private use of the Brewing Network. Any use of this telecast without Jamil Zainashev's consent is prohibited. Suck it, JP.
Are you a member of the White Labs Customer Club? If not, you should be. It's the easiest way to earn free stuff for turning in your old homebrew labels from either Vials or Pure Pitch. All you have to do is save your labels and redeem them for things like free yeast, an exclusive White Labs t-shirt or sweatshirt, and even the opportunity to brew with the yeast man himself, Chris White. Signing up is easy. Just go to whitelabs.com/customer club, fill out the registration form, and then mail in your labels. They will return the favor by sending you awesome White Labs swag. Go sign up today at whitelabs.com/customer club. White Labs, pure yeast and fermentation since 1995.
Like the Lance Armstrong of the beer world. Except for that nut thing.
This is Brew Strong.
All right, we're back.
Okay.
Well, I want to tell you about one of the weird things about alcohol efficiency is getting your yeast to attenuate those sugars that you provided.
Right.
And I'll tell you, one of the interesting things is the vault at White Labs. They have all sorts of yeast that do all sorts of miraculous things and produce all sorts of interesting flavors and all that. And sometimes the only place you can get some of those really interesting things is through their vault program. They add like 20 new specialty strains into the vault, and they'll add more throughout the year. You go there and you check it out, and if you find something that interests you, you put in your pre-order, and once a strain reaches 150 orders, they go ahead and they release the yeast, and they'll ship it out to you directly to your doorstep, and it's an opportunity to get to brew with yeast that otherwise you'd never have a chance at. The size brewery we are, I could get White Labs to make me a yeast, but, as a home brewer, you just don't have that opportunity. So I think it's really cool that they do this. So you can check it out, whitelabs.com/vault, or the vault. Let's see. The vault. Sorry. whitelabs.com/the vault.
Do you know what White Labs' barrel limit is? Like if I have I'm making 700 barrels a year, will they make me a yeast then?
Well, it depends on how much you're ordering. You can go ahead and through yeastman.com, you can order a minimum orders of 1.5 liters of yeast.
Okay.
So that gives you access to their unique and specialty strains as well. So check that out. All right. Back to efficiency.
Okie dokie. Well, so in the mash, we've got, everybody's crushing their malt. Today's malts are very well modified. That means that their starch endosperm has been broken down by enzymes during the malting process. These starches are just ready and waiting to be converted in the mash. Mm-hmm. So when it comes to mash efficiency and mash conversion efficiency, that's going to be pretty consistent. Degree of crush has an effect, but mostly it affects how fast the mash converts, not how completely. But it does have a small effect. So what I'm saying is that your starches will convert in the mash, and therefore your wort gravity in the mash, once you've doughed in, that mash has gone on for a little while, that gravity is going to be pretty consistent, and it's going to mainly depend on your water to grist ratio. Mm-hmm. So I want everybody to be aware of that your mash conversion efficiency is going to be pretty consistent. Does depend, again, to repeat, depends a small amount of degree of crush, but it's going to be pretty consistent. And you can predict your first running's wort gravity very consistently, very accurately, using an equation and tables that are in How to Brew. Mm-hmm. So that's kind of locked in. Now we come to lautering efficiency. And this is where most people have problems with, lower than anticipated efficiency, is, having problems getting that sugar out of the mash and by lautering. Mm-hmm. So lauter means to clean, clarify, purify. It's the process of separating and clarifying the wort from the mash to the kettle. And so you can drain off the wort from the mash, and then you can sparge to rinse. Sparge means to sprinkle. So you're rinsing the grain bed of extra sugar that's been retained by the wet grain. Now, the wet grain typically retains about a half quart per pound or 1 liter per kilogram of grist. So, and that retained sugar is going to be at the same, sugar concentration as the wort itself. So you're going to have that remaining extract left behind in the mash after you drain it off, and that's why you're sparging. You're trying to rinse that sugar out. Lots of ways to do that. You have traditional fly sparging, where basically the slower you go and the more uniformly you rinse the grain bed, the better you'll rinse it, and you'll get very high efficiencies. And again, efficiency is how much wort, gravity and volume, that you collect in your boil kettle. So if you go nice and slow, you can get pretty easily 90-95% efficiency. But when so many brewers tend to rush the lautering and sparging process, they try to drain too fast, they end up compacting the grain bed. Mm-hmm. And when you compact the grain bed, now you've got high density areas that makes it harder for the wort to flow through them. Those areas don't get rinsed as well. So now you're missing extract from those areas. Some people, use small false bottoms that don't cover the whole area of the tun, and again, you miss out on grist that's at the edges of the mash if your false bottom is small. If you're using like a single screen kind of manifold or something, again, you can be missing out on rinsing areas of that mash tun and missing extract that way. So both compaction, channeling, your lautering device design, all of those things can contribute to not rinsing and collecting from all areas of the grain bed effectively, and you get lost that way. And that's that all is lautering efficiency.
Mm-hmm. How is that affected by something like brew in a bag?
Well, brew in a bag is essentially a no sparge process. And the nice thing about brew in a bag is that you're simply draining what's there. You're not trying to rinse it. Mm-hmm. And so you don't have to worry about, sparging slowly and all that. You are simply going to hoist the bag out of the tun and let all the wort drain out into the tun or kettle, as the case may be. Mm-hmm. What you want to do when doing brew in a bag is to put in your full volume of water, so that when you collect that wort from the draining bag, you have your full boil volume. Brew in a bag, because of the weight of the bag kind of squeezing out more of the wort from the wet grain, it drops the retention factor by about half. So from a half quart per pound down to a quarter quart per pound, or conversely a half liter per kilogram retained. And so, you get better efficiency from brew in a bag because you're getting more wort out of that mash and collecting in your kettle. So no sparge brewing, if you do a rough calculation from about a water to grist ratio of about 2 quarts per pound or 4 liters per kilogram, you get about 75% yield and efficiency just from no sparge. Mm-hmm. And if you batch sparge, if you put in another batch of water and rinse that grain bed again, then you can collect more of that extract. And so that can get you up, like 80%, 85% efficiency, depending on, the water ratios involved. Mm-hmm. The higher your water to grist ratio, the more of the sugars you will extract into the wort from the grain. They'll be, more diluted, but you will recover a greater percentage of them. Mm-hmm. So, and that can vary, from like 65% down at very low water to grist ratios, like 1 quart per pound kind of thing, up to, I think it's 85%, 90% as you go up to like 6 quarts per pound at the top end, which is really, very dilute, and you'd have to spend an extra hour boiling the wort just to get the gravity down to a useful, OG for you. But those are the trade-offs.
Right.
Okay. So lautering efficiency is all about, you effectively getting the wort out of the grain bed, and you can drain, which is is nice, or you can sparge, and let's see, I guess I kind of covered that already. So brew in the bag, good method. Here's some numbers I've calculated for the different methods. Standard traditional fly sparge, if your water to grist ratio is about 2 quarts per pound, and your retention factor for wet grain is about 1 liter per kilogram or a half quart per pound, to get 7 gallons of 1043 wort to boil to 6 gallons of 1050 OG, you would need 9.5 pounds of grain, when that would net you an efficiency of about 85%. Traditional mash and lauter. Batch sparging, to get that same 7 gallons of 1043, you would have to use about 10.3 pounds compared to 9.5, and your water to grist ratio would be a little bit lower, 1.9 quarts per pound, and your efficiency would be about 78% compared to 85. No sparge, you would use more grain, 11 pounds. Your efficiency would be 74% and your water to grist ratio would be about 3.1 quarts per pound, or 6.2 liters per kilogram. Brew in a bag, because we are retaining less wort in the wet grain, you can get by with less grain, 10 pounds, same water to grist ratio, 3.1, but your efficiency is up at 81%. So, bit of a range there, 85 down to 74, but still ballpark, very useful efficiencies, really.
Well, and I think the thing that people get all freaked out about and start going nuts, and they're like, "Oh, I'm at 74. I need to be at 85," and they worry about these little numbers.
Right.
And it's like, well, all right. If you were Anheuser-Busch, maybe you need to worry about it. But even at our size, we don't really worry about that. You think about this in terms of a homebrew batch. The difference is about 10%. So 10% of your base malt, you're talking about, a half pound to a pound of grain.
To make up for that extra.
To make up for it, yeah. And, and the point being, you could ruin your beer trying to be too aggressive about efficiency.
Oh, yeah. Over-sparging.
Right. Versus no sparge, which tends to make, a maltier, richer flavor beer.
Right.
I think that's been shown in the past. Is that worth the extra 50 cents? Yeah, it might be. I think that I wouldn't worry about the 50 cents to $1. I'd worry about making the best beer possible. And there's other things to worry about first, but you still need to be able to calculate your efficiency in order to have consistency and to be able to come up with new recipes. So I think this is a very important subject. I think for different reasons than most people assume when they first start brewing.
Yeah. So many people are worried, as you say, just about the number, when what they really need to be worried about is what does that efficiency number say about your brewing process? Are you getting the degree of conversion in the mash that you're expecting? If you're mashing 10 pounds of malt at a water to grist ratio of 2-to-1, you should be getting a wort gravity about 10. Where's that number? It's 1068, something like that. And, so if you're not seeing that, if you can't take a wort sample and see that number, well, okay, maybe your thermometer is not calibrated. Maybe your pH is really wrong because of bad water. What are those factors that could be affecting that mash?
Yeah, if you're doing a no sparge and you're not getting, maybe 74%, there's something wrong with your mash conversion.
Right.
Or that's your scale, your weighing, or the grain that you've been given, or something like that.
Yeah, that's what the measuring the efficiency is for, is to help you understand how your process is doing. You're not trying to worry about 74, 75, 76. That's in the weeds. That's not important. Likewise, if you know that as no sparge, you should be getting 74%, but, by the time you collect wort in your kettle and you say to yourself, I'm only measuring, 65% efficiency from the wort that I've collected in my kettle, well, maybe you're doing something wrong in the sparge. Or maybe there's a big, source of wort loss that you're leaving behind, maybe under the false bottom, or, not, you're only, you're channeling and really just collecting sparge water in your kettle, and all the sugars staying in the mash tun. I mean, again, that's when you should be concerned about your efficiency, is when it's grossly off, and understand what these numbers mean.
All right. I wanted to tell everybody about the free Brew Guru app from the AHA. You can download it for free from the Play Store, the App Store, wherever else you get apps from. And it is a really cool app for locating all those discounts you get with your AHA membership. Let's just put that right out there. It's got a lot of good things about like curated articles and stuff like that, but just being able to find out the closest place that has AHA discount, bars, restaurants, homebrew shops, whatever, bottle shops, it'll save you a ton of money. It'll save you the price of your membership. If you can't pay for your membership by using this app, then you probably don't buy any beer or food or homebrew supplies. If you listen to the show, I'm pretty sure you do all three of those things to excess. So get yourself the Brew Guru app and an AHA membership and take advantage of it and essentially pay yourself for being a home brewer. All right, let's take a short break. When we come back, we'll wrap up this fascinating discussion of efficiency right after this.
Brewing great beer is a process of continuous learning, and the best books on every aspect of brewing can be found at Brewers Publications, with more than 50 awesome titles like Modern Homebrew Recipes by Gordon Strong, Designing Great Beers, the Ultimate Guide to Brewing Classic Beer Styles by Ray Daniels, American Sour Beers, Innovative Techniques for Mixed Fermentations by Michael Tonsmeyer, For the Love of Hops, The Practical Guide to Aroma, Bitterness, and the Culture of Hops by Stan Hieronymus, and Radical Brewing, Recipes, Tales, and World-Altering Meditations in a Glass by Randy Mosher, plus many, many more. These are the books and the authors with the knowledge to push your brewing farther than you thought possible. And you'll find them all at fine homebrew and book retailers everywhere. And visit the website at brewerspublications.com. Brewers Publications, all the best on beer and brewing.
Do you support the Brewing Network? Do you brew your own? Are you looking for an economical, fun, and legal way to do both? Subscribe to Brew Your Own magazine and do just that. All year long, Brew Your Own will surprise you, entertain you, and educate you with articles on beer and brewing from authors like the Brewing Network's very own Jamil and John Palmer. Each issue is a full pint of brewing techniques, homebrew stories, tips and photos, projects to make yourself, and recipes for the avid home brewer. Get your tough questions answered by Mr. Wizard and polish your style accuracy with Jamil. A portion of every subscription goes to the Brewing Network, so subscribe today at byo.com/Brewing Network, or just click the BYO logo on the Brewing Network homepage and support a fantastic hobby and your favorite broadcaster. Brew Your Own, the how-to homebrew beer magazine.
Back to the beer guys that make other beer guys look like wine guys. Brew Strong.
All right, we're back. I also want to tell you folks about AdamandEve.com. AdamandEve.com, especially for Valentine's Day. You can get yourself 50% off almost any one item, a free romance kit, a free DVD, and free shipping when you use the offer code JAMIL, Jamil. Yeah, to make a Valentine's Day you're never going to forget, take advantage of this Adam and Eve offer. They're going to give you 50% off just about any one item, and then you're going to get your romance kit for free, which is a toy for him, a special massager for her, and a little something we know you'll both enjoy. Plus the free adult DVD, put you in the mood, and free shipping on your entire order. So check out AdamandEve.com today for the special Valentine's offer. 50% off, the romance kit, the DVD, free shipping. Just use the offer code JAMIL, Jamil.
I just want to clarify, Adam and Eve is no longer sponsoring the show. You were just inspired because Porno Steve walked in, right?
No. Hey, I got my sheet to read. I mean, I think they dropped off for a little bit, but then I was told they came back. I've been reading them for the last few months at least.
Okay. So
I think the point is they beat the heck out of Hallmark.
Yes, for Valentine's Day.
All right, Porno Steve, you ready? Welcome, man.
Hi. Oh, good of you to show up, Porno Steve.
Oh, yeah. Oh, jeez. Oh, yeah.
I mean,
responsible.
That and your belching. I don't know. Belching on the air into the microphone.
Really, the problem is our expectations. What more would you expect from the Porno Steve? I mean, timeliness, please.
I don't expect lots of timely questions about efficiency.
I don't expect much. That's a fact.
A long night.
You missed out on the Evil 3.
Oh, shit.
Yeah, you did.
Well, that's what I get. Makes sense.
There you go.
It actually is really what you get. I wanted more. And they're like, oh, we should just drink it all before Steve gets here. And I was like, oh, yeah, screw that guy.
Yeah. Fuck that guy.
Cool. Thanks, brother. All right. Back to efficiency. Let's wrap up this topic.
Okay, well, again, efficiency, to wrap up, is comparing your mash and lauter yield compared to the ASBC laboratory yield. Base number is 37 points per pound per gallon for base malt, or 304 points per liter per kilogram, PKL, for working in liters and kilograms. Don't sweat efficiencies in this 75% range. That's perfectly typical. Understand, where your numbers should be, what ballpark they should be in, and what that means in terms of your brewing process. Don't sweat trying to increase your efficiency by 1 or 2 points. Lower efficiency, such as no sparge, means that you're fermenting a richer, fuller bodied wort than you would be if you were extracting every last scrap of sugar from a mash and having to boil an additional length of time to reach your original gravity with 95% efficiency. So that's really kind of it. And wort loss after the boil, whether it's in your plumbing or due to trub or hops or whatever in your fermenter, that's beyond efficiency. That's I guess that's brew house loss, and that's money, but really doesn't enter into the efficiency calculation.
Well, and let me throw in a few tips that I'd have for people that are just starting out. One is,
excellent.
Make sure you're getting a good crush and a consistent crush. So if you keep going from place to place and messing with the gap and things like that, your crush on your grain is going to go up and down, and it's going to mess with your efficiency. Crush is very important to it. Take your time. If you can, recirculate that mash. Get it nice and homogeneous. Make sure everything's getting wet properly. Everything has opportunity, consistent temperature and wetting. And that goes with like dough balls too. When you toss in a bunch of dry grain into hot water, it tends to ball up and form balls. Stir that mash and check and crush any of those dough balls. Or you can add the water to the grain, which tends to avoid the dough balls. Vorloffing is another, almost like recirculation, where it tends to get everything consistent and it clears up the wort. That's another good technique. And take your time. Don't rush it. The laboratory process that John spelled out, the hours and hours that they do this, that's to get the maximum. If you're rushing through and saying, I only need 30 minutes, take your time. Enjoy your day. Clean some of your other equipment, do whatever. Spend at least an hour sparging. That, will help surprisingly in the efficiency you're going to get. So you should be able to kind of hit that 75% without any real difficulty if you're doing these basic things.
Right. I was going to also add, don't be tempted to overcrush or 2 or 3 passes through mill, because if you have tons of fines in your mash tun, then wort is not going to flow through that bed very well. That's going to be a pretty homogeneous bed, and it's going to act like a bowl of porridge. So, don't over crush because it won't water well. It'll convert well, but it won't water.
Consistency is probably the more important thing than as long as you don't see a bunch of whole grains. Even if you see what looks like whole grains, if you check them, they're probably crushed inside. They're at least cracked up into multiple bits. That's fine. So, you just want consistency so you can dial in the rest of your process. Just my point being, don't change the mill, don't change the gap. Just keep one until you've got everything else dialed in. Then you can worry about that.
Yep.
All right. Good show, brother.
Thank you.
A lot of interesting material that I think people will find very useful. And I think if you find the show useful, you find them all quite useful. And check it out on the BrewingNetwork.com. There's lots of shows to download. We've been doing Brew Strong for probably 10 years, and God bless him, John Blickman's been sponsoring it since pretty much the beginning. And I think if you enjoy the show, you should give a nod to Blickman at BlickmanEngineering.com. Just email him, feedback at BlickmanEngineering.com, so he can hear that you do get value out of the money that he spends on us doing this show. You could also check out the Brewing Network store. There's lots of goodies in there. Check them out. Right now, they have a big sale on spray bottles. They have the logo on them. I think they're going for like $1 a piece with free shipping. I mean, you really can't beat it. So go check it out. Of course, it's limited quantities, so it may already be sold out. But, you go there and check it out anyways. You can never have too many spray bottles. Till then, everybody, brew strong.
Brew strong, everyone.